Hello and welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports. And today is June the 24th of 2025. I just completed the Colorado Front Range 1200K with 11,120 meters of climbing. And so if you're in the Imperial System, 750 miles with 36,500 feet of climbing. And this was a cloverleaf event beginning in Louisville. Make sure you pronounce the S. They do that there locally. Louisville, Colorado, and it did loops out. So the first day was about 250 miles, 400K. Second day was a little over 190 miles, so a 300K. Third day, another 300K, another 190 miles. And then the last day was it felt like a recovery ride, a 200K of 125 miles. So the first thing I'd like to do is thank the RBA. John Lee Ellis was just a great host for us, being from out of town. I had some Garmin issues, and I had asked him, hey, I'm sorry, but can you print out some route sheets for me because I'm having a lot of trouble. And it was just no hesitation. He says, yes, no problem. And when I showed up for registration, he had the route sheets. And then I also want to thank the local riders, just a lot of good vibes the whole time. They gave me tips on, this, the store, that, and the climb. And they were always willing to provide me with some local knowledge of the course or the climbs. So I met some great people, and I hope to meet them again, either at another event or maybe go back out to Colorado. And so I just want to get that out of the way first. Thank you, Colorado motorists. Motorists were very, very friendly. I mean, this is 750 miles. I only remember maybe one or two motorists that whole time. Everyone else, I mean, people would like pull out to see if they can turn left, turn right. They'd see us coming and they'd back up. It felt really good. And people would sit behind us for a little bit till it was a wider shoulder and we could pull over. So I just want to say thank you to Colorado for being such a great place for us to ride. Front Range, so Boulder area. I'm sorry, I don't remember a lot of the towns. I was just following a route. But today we're going to talk about saddles. We're going to talk about the saddles I typically ride. We're going to talk about the saddle that I ended up choosing for this 1200K. Saddle time was about 56 hours. So that's a lot of time, and that's rolling time, right? So, or yeah, whatever it is. Sorry, people. I haven't slept well in probably 6 days, 7 days. It's just the driving out there, your time change, you're discombobulated with your bed, your pillow, your stuff, and then 4 a.m. start. You got to go to bed at 8 o'clock. It's still daylight out. It just sorry, but the very first thing that you do with any type of saddle is you need to take a measurement of your sit bones. And so I've done that today with, I'm sorry, that's upside down, with the SQ Lab measuring. Very simple process that we do here, and it's just, it's got a little bit of, if you can think about a bed of nails, it's but in plastic, and then you sit this on there and it makes an impression. So just because it's so busy on that side, I did it this way. So I measured 10.7 centimeters. That's the very first thing you need to do. You need to know how much you measure, because as the bike industry has been getting smarter and smarter about this over the years, they now list all the measurements, I should say all the dimensions of your saddle. So many of you know that I ride SQ Lab saddles all the time. They are fantastic. They fit me extremely well. 100 milers, 200 milers. I've done 600Ks on this. 600K, 375 miles. I did two 600Ks last year. One was a Sufferfest, the 8K, 600K, so the 26,000 foot event. And that was 30 hours. The saddle was fine. 2 weeks later, I did another 600K with only 13,000 feet. So that was a sub 24 hour, so R60. And that was great. But I did not want to get back on the saddle for a day or two, if not more. So with that in mind, I kept thinking to myself, God, I have to ride 400K, 300K, 300K, day after day. Excuse me. And because I know that I don't typically like to get on this saddle the very next day after doing a hard push of let's say a 200 miler. Oh, and speaking of a hard push, this is also important to note. Except for the sleep deprivation and the dehydration I'm still trying to catch back up with, I rode that entire event between 100 to 130 watts, every now and then 150. But I just kept my power super steady and very low. So like barely 2 watts per kilo. And I could see everyone else just going up rollers. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? And then I'm getting dropped, but that's the pace I wanted to ride. And then they would crest and then coast and start talking. And I'm like, what are they doing? And then I would just pass them at like 80 watts, like hardly pedaling. So I guess a quick pro tip for you. If you don't have a power meter, please get one and watch your pacing, especially on a 1200K like this. It was just so easy. The ride was fairly easy because I kept the power so low and I kept it consistent. And as I kept telling Tommy, what we want to do is flatten out the course. If we flatten out the course by keeping our power consistent, so think about this, you don't feel the hill and you don't really feel, you feel going downhill, but you don't really feel the hill. Just flatten it out by keeping your power down low. I was nose breathing the entire 4 days. I never breathed out of my mouth. I never huffed and puffed. Nose breathing all the time. And I kept saying to Tommy, nose breathe, close your mouth. I can't breathe. Well, then you're going too fast. If you can't breathe through your nose, you're going too fast. Slow down, okay? Let's set that aside. So I know after a hard push, I don't want to get back on this saddle. During the training rides, I was using this saddle. This is called the Galibier. This is a Berthoud, but that's in the title, so you know what these saddles are. This is the Berthoud. This is the narrow saddle, and according to them, it measures 147 millimeters across. And I did a few 8-hour, 10-hour rides, and I did a double century on this. I think I was on a bike like 13 hours. Again, nose breathing the whole time because I knew that's what I needed to do for the 1200. And it was comfortable, but I still felt like I'm not getting enough support here. The thing about like an SQ Lab saddle, notice it's quite flat across here, and it's definitely flat across here. So I said, God, I just don't feel like I'm getting enough support out of this saddle. So I took the plunge and I purchased the Aravis. Help me pronounce that. I know Matu from France tunes in every now and then. This saddle is their wider saddle, and I apologize, but I don't remember the numbers. So let me look this up real quick. 157. So this is 10 millimeters wider than this one. I did all my training on this saddle and still didn't think, I mean, it was comfortable for sure. and I could do multiple days, you know, so I was fine. But I said, there's got to be something just a little bit better. Marginal gains, as they might say. So then I went with this saddle instead, and this is the REV. This saddle, 10 millimeters wider, 157. And if you go back to my chart, wherever I put that, I measured 10.7. So on an SQ Lab chart, 10.7, round up to 11. Then based on my riding position, that's how many more you add, right? So let's say I'm at 10.7, round up to 11, and then I would add, you know, 1, 2, 3. So based on their recommendations, I should be riding a 13, but I ride a 14. And so with this computation or reasoning of where I fit on an SQ Lab saddle, I said, you know, 147 should work, right? It didn't work for me. And this is very important. I'm sharing with you my experience on what worked for me. You may do this math and be like, I'm super comfortable on a 12 centimeter saddle, right? So anyway, I put this saddle on. Did not get a chance to break it in, right? I got it, rode it around, I don't know, 5-10 miles, and just kind of worked with it, because remember that the nose of this saddle is much different than the nose of an SQ Lab saddle, which is much more what I'm used to, right? You can see this is a little flatter perch to sit on than this. By the way, in case you're not aware, these uppers can be replaced, right? You have these screws here, the bottoms, the frames, that also can be replaced. There's just a lot of benefits to this over the Brooks saddle, which I have 3 of them on different bikes. Right, now, the only issue I have with these leather saddles is that they're designed for you to sit kind of here, right? So this part of the saddle, if you're in the aero bars, isn't as comfortable. So there's that. But one of the major things, and luckily on the Renee Hurst side, or Ren Hurst, they actually list that measurement. And you may gloss over it and not notice it, but they list the length of the saddle part, the saddle rails that will actually be clampable, if that's a word. And so a lot of times when you look at these saddles, these leather saddles on people's bikes, first of all, they almost always should have a nose up attitude, but because this saddle isn't broken in yet, it's still flat. And by the way, please, no bike shaming. Don't go and say to someone, oh, your saddle should be this way or that way. That rider is comfortable most of the time. And that's why his or her saddle is the way it is. But when you look at this, you're thinking, wow, he's got that saddle all the way forward. He's compensating for something in his bike fit. No. Well, first of all, this setback on this is significantly more, even though they advertise it at only 0.25. It's a whole lot more than the seat posts I typically ride, right? The Ritchie. Okay? So this seems to have a lot more setback. Now, because the roads were so nice and so smooth, and just every now and then some bad roads, this seat post was overkill, and I won't need this for any type of paved 1200K again. But right there at the back, I could not put a clamp to, let me see if maybe that's a better angle. There's just no room to put a clamp to ride a different bag. because this is the bag I wanted to ride. This bag is much smaller. It would fit everything that I needed. I didn't need the really big bag, which I ended up riding. So I ended up riding this bag, which I really didn't need that much. By the way, this is what I drank the entire 4 days. Liquid nutrition the entire 4 days. I never stopped to eat anywhere. I think I had a Danish once, and I had a breakfast sandwich once from the hotel. And that slowed my pace down. It was hot, and my stomach got messed up. So I was like, why did I do that? I never eat solid foods on these things. Please use a liquid nutrition. If you don't use my product, I prefer that you would, because this is so much easier to digest. And it's just so easy. You just keep drinking. You have to drink anyway. I never had to, we'll talk more about nutrition, but I never had to worry about what's going to be at the next control. What can I eat there? No, I already had, all I needed was water. I can get water from a sink or a pump at a campground. I don't need food, even though I'm on a bike 15, 16 hours every single day. This is the bag I wanted to ride, but I couldn't put the clamp back here. So now we're going to talk about what I was talking about. Now this is important for your bike fit, and this is also important for if you still need a clampable area here. So notice this, or let's look at it this way. All of this from here all the way to here cannot be clamped, right? So if you look at the saddle, from here all the way to here, you can't even clamp the saddle. You only have this little bit from there to there. And that little bit, according to them, is supposed to measure 64 centimeters. Let me turn that around so it's not upside down for you. Okay? So something like that, around 64. But what I'm used to, I'm sorry, that's probably not perfect, but what I'm used to for my saddles is about 2 centimeters, or 1.5 centimeters to 2 centimeters more, right? Let me see if I can do that. I think that helps. So there's a big difference on where you're going to put your saddle based on how much rails you're given, how much of the saddle is sittable. I'm making up words today. Coffee. So a lot of this you have to play around with before you end up doing a 1200K. Now, my training for this 1200K, I only did a 200K early part of the year. I didn't do the 3, 4, 600K as a workup towards this 1200K. So some unknowns, but some knowns. I know my bike fit, so I can sort that out pretty quick. It's just whether the saddle's going to work or not. This saddle was amazing. This saddle was absolutely amazing. It was perfect. I'm now going to take my, so this is that ergon post. I'm now going to take that off of there. Well, I'll probably leave it. I don't know. I'm going to put back my regular seat post and racing saddle. By the way, so when I put these two on the scale, because I know I have weight weenies out there, and I used to be a weight weenie 2 decades ago, but now it's not important anymore. What's important is being comfortable. This is 321 grams, so this is both the saddle and the seat post. 321 grams. Just this saddle, the Galibier with titanium rails, all that jazz, this is 350 something. Just this saddle is, oh, it's over a pound. Just this saddle. And then the seat post is much heavier. So this system here is 682 grams. This saddle and this seat post. And this is 320, so I don't know. It's at least twice, this one is at least twice the weight of this. But here's the thing. I can't believe how many people I heard complaining that their butts hurt. I was perfect. I was super, super comfortable. So, do you want to be a weight weenie or do you want to be comfortable for 750 miles, 1,200 kilometers? You have to decide what is more important to you. And by the way, my steel bike, I've done some weight here because I had Reginald, Scott, and Giovanni here. My steel bike with no pedals, because you never know what pedals someone's going to ride. So complete bike, bottle cages, everything built on it, alloy wheels. The weight of my Road Logic without pedals, but bottle cages, everything, wheels, everything, 16 pounds, 10 ounces, or 7.5 kilograms. So yeah, it kind of sucks to put to put, you know, well over a pound of extra than my regular saddle, but or saddle and seat post, but I was comfortable. I was comfortable. So pro tips for today: nose breathe, keep your power low, flatten out the course, and be comfortable. Being comfortable.
It's 1 o'clock.
It's 1 o'clock. Being comfortable is way more important than anything else. All right. There is a lot more to cover about this 1200K. We got to get Tommy onto a podcast. Another episode of Just Two Guys Talking will be filmed over the next couple of days, and then a little bit of editing. And yeah, just hit notifications so you can be notified when another video drops. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.